Following yesterday's announcement that Hunter Life Education will be the sole beneficiary of Telethon 87, preparations are already in hand to ensure that the event is as successful as last year's Telethon, which raised more than $1.9 million for the Mater Hospital's oncology unit. The fight against the use of illegal drugs has been taken up by many sectors of the community, from the federal government down to voluntary groups. Tackling the problem through education and on a regional level was today endorsed by health and education authorities and the state member for Newcastle, Arthur Wade.
The challenge has been taken by people in the region, and particularly in this region, with Father Bridges' initiative. We're well ahead. We're forging ahead with the caravans, the buses, the action taken in schools, that I think we've taken a lead in this light, and we're going to achieve something.
The Department of Education has also endorsed the initiative.
And to have the centre out there and for schools to be able to visit and make use of the very expensive teaching materials they'll be able to provide will be something that I certainly can't offer, and to have it there from somebody else is great.
While the Regional Director of Health, Dr Owen James, says Hunter Life Education is also in line with his department's aims.
Hunter Life is associated with the education of people about their bodies and its reaction to substances that might be foreign, such as nicotine, alcohol, as well as other drugs. The identification of the bad lifestyles that come into later health problems, such as cancer of the lung, etc., is just the sort of thing that Father Bridge is trying to do.
So the Hunter Life Education aims are in line with the department's own health strategy for the region?
Absolutely.
Three fire brigade units were called to Woodbury Road near Beresfield at 10:20 this morning after a passing motorist noticed smoke billowing from this house. The kitchen, where the fire is believed to have started, was gutted and the rest of the rooms were severely damaged by smoke and water. A fireman was taken to the Mater Hospital when he suffered smoke inhalation. Most of the household contents and personal belongings were destroyed. The house was owned by a woman with 3 children but was unoccupied at the time of the blaze.
The new West Wing took just 19 weeks to build. The feature of the addition is the Conference and Function Centre, which is already well booked into early next year. 18 more rooms have been built in an adjoining block in response to Pepper's impressive occupancy rate of almost 90% week through, year round. Mike, Pepper's only opened 18 months ago and now a new West Wing. How much investment is on the site?
Well, our total investment here is approximately 3.2 million, and the extension itself was just over $1 million.
Pepper's has been an untold success story. The owners, originally from Sydney, say they saw the potential for this style of accommodation in the valley, and it's a market that's not yet been exhausted.
What the valley needs is more beds. We'd be very happy to see another major development here, because there is a limit to how many service industries can feed off a limited number of beds. We need more people to come and stay in the valley.
This year's Classic attracted a big field of 72 wave ski riders. 16 were left in the finals this afternoon. The small surf made it difficult for the riders to show just what they can do, but that didn't deter the healthy crowd that was on hand. In the men's, 2 Novocastrians, Cole Samways and Mick Smith, were in the running, along with world champion John Christensen and tournament number 2 seed Mike Clemson, both from Sydney. Clemson in the white vest looked good from the start. His excellent wave selection gave him many exciting rides. Christensen in the red, on the other hand, was having trouble picking the right waves and struggled for good scoring rides. At the end of the final, the result: Clemson first, Christensen second, with Samways edging out Smith for third. In the other 3 finals, Coffs Harbour riders made a clean sweep, winning all three. In the Masters, Doug Sykes, the women's Lynn Furbank and the juniors Matt Hunter. At the end of the day, the organisers were delighted, saying it was the best event to date.
By any measure, last year's inaugural Surfest was a spectacular success. The world's best surfers were watched by a final day crowd of 30,000 people on the beach and many more on television. At the launching of Surfest 86 at the City Hall today, Coca-Cola marketing manager David Ansell told the audience that after last year's success, there just had to be a second. The Coke Surf Trials carry sponsorship of $17,500 this year, while the main Men's World Championship event will once again be sponsored by BHP to the tune of $65,000. The Newcastle City Council will add $15,000 to the total. This year's Surfest will be a major social event, with concert stalls and other activities planned. A whole range of water sports events will complement the surfing, including sailing, hang gliding and fishing tournaments. At this stage, sponsorship is down on last year's world record of $100,000, but a sponsor for the women's contest is expected to be announced within weeks, and other sponsors could still hop on board. NBN's Nat Jeffrey is the competition coordinator, and he says the future of Surfest looks bright.
At this stage, Newcastle City Council have indicated that they want to be involved with Surfest right through till 1988, and in 1988 they would like Surfest to be a mammoth affair due to the fact that we're celebrating our bicentenary, and in fact they will have government funding available for a bigger Surfest in 1988. We also have acknowledgement from BHP and also from Coca-Cola that they will return again next year in 1987, and I guess depending on the success of the event this year and next year, we may even see those two companies back for 1988.
Fine, that's all we need.
Lionel Lampkin trapped 9 of the lungfish with the permission of the Queensland and New South Wales Department of Fisheries. He built a small pond in his car and drove the fish from the Burnett River to Belmont, where they'll be the subject of scientific research. Not much is known about the Ceratops, except their fossil remains have been found in rocks formed 2 million years ago. Through the ages, the fish have evolved very little, the single lung in an adult enabling them to live both in the water and on land for up to 2 days. They can grow to 2 metres or more in length and have been known to live in captivity for more than 35 years. The project is the culmination of a 12-month operation. At the age of 62, Lionel undertook a scuba diving course to catch the lungfish. For the record, he's also written a book on the evolution of man and once bred a new species of pig. This project, however, will take up where his book, Ceratops, the Australian lungfish, left off. He will now study their breeding habits. Lionel, why the fascination with lungfish?
I see them as a beautiful creature. They, if you've seen them in the rivers, and they seem to have a personality of their own.
It's a face that only a lungfish could love. His, not mine. But this fellow is a true survivor. In a drought, he can bury himself more than a metre below the surface of sand, though his finest attribute is probably the fact that he's mainly vegetarian.
Resting at the foothills of the Rimba is a rainforest filled with a subtle mixture of grandeur, serenity and splendour. Escania Park is a privately owned venture which began as a hobby. The park was then opened to the public, providing no restrictions on who shared in its natural beauty. The walks through the mixture of subtropical and warm temperate rainforest flora were designed and hand-dug by owner Ed Manners. Ed's dedicated enthusiasm to his overgrown backyard garden reflects in his knowledge of every plant, which has been painstakingly labelled. There's more than 500 varieties. Escania Park has been recognised by the State Tourist Commission, winning the coveted award for excellence.
There's something terribly relaxing and beautiful about our rainforest, and to me, Escania Park is a rainforest work of art. We've created so many different vistas that man has used his eyes to put the rainforest in its best clothes.
To cater for the growing tourist industry, Ed plans to expand the rainforest, but the emphasis will be to improve its natural beauty rather than to remove it.
People are always asking me to do lots of man-made things which are of a very commercial nature, and I've always refused to do it. Escania is a hobby to me, and really I've opened it to the public, letting them enjoy my hobby, and that's the way it will stay.
We've always endeavoured to strive for third spot. That was our objective at the start of the year, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
What about the team? Is it as good as you can put on the park? You've had a few injuries this year.
It's probably as good as last year's team, but probably as instanced by our lower grade performances, we're better off with depth this year.
Some people would say that Central are the easiest of the five to beat, but I'm sure you don't believe that at this point in time.
I don't believe that at all. I think Central has been a great performance this year, and I think it's been great for rugby league in Newcastle.
They are a team that throws it about well. They've got quite a good attacking record. Their defence doesn't stand up with their attack, though, at this point.
Well, you know, I think any side that can attack is very hard to beat, and, you know, there's certainly no easy beats, that's for sure, and I give them, you know, full marks to their effort this year.
Will they come in with a win over you people just a week or two back?
Yeah, that's true. 3 weeks ago they beat us, yeah, in the last minute of the game.
That must have shaken you to the core a bit, Shiny, I would think.
Yeah, it certainly did. I'm not one to, you know, subscribe to losing too often.
No. Can you win tomorrow?
Yes.
Who's the team to beat in the whole thing all up?
Lakes.
You didn't have too much hesitation about that answer?
No, none whatsoever.
They're a standout.
They're the trendsetters for Newcastle Rugby League. They're very professional in their attitude, their outlook. Their whole club is professional. You know, I think it's the way Newcastle Rugby League's got to go.
Yes, well, so far it has. The remaining games are a real show of character. The Falcon fans would be disappointed in that we aren't winning, and especially after last year where we did so well.
Last week would be an example of frustration, getting beaten in the final, moments of the game?
Well, yes, Benny threw up a miraculous shot, Lee, and that did hurt us, obviously, but they shouldn't have been in a situation where it should have hurt us.
Tomorrow night's match, though, will bring out the best. The Hawks and the Falcons are great rivals, and I know yourself and Gordy McLeod will probably be interested in another tussle again.
Yes, but tomorrow night I won't be marking Gordy. Michael will, Mike Johnson. I've got Jim Bateman, so there's an ex-Falcon playing against the home team. But being the two steel cities, you know, we have a lot in common and a lot of rivalry there.
You'd be a bit cranky with the Illawarra side taking Bateman away from the Falcons. He was one of your special players last year, I thought.
Well, I thought Jim was the backbone of our side last year, and to lose him was a big loss. But Illawarra have recruited well. They've come up with Borner and Alphonse Hammond, Don Bickett to support him. So it will be a real test of character tomorrow night.
The New South Wales Amateur Swimming Association operates a free program of ongoing training for swimmers at different levels of proficiency, from the Junior District Development Squad, who trained at the Junction today, to the Challenge Squad and the State team. Within each grouping, swimmers have the chance to compete against each other and against squads from other districts. Time trials were held today to select a team from the Junior Squad to compete in Sydney. According to Kirk Marks, the Director of Coaching with the State Amateur Swimming Association, it means that swimmers at every stage have the chance to improve, with special attention paid to starting, turning and finishing techniques. The ongoing swimming program also includes the coaching of coaches, which despite Australia's fall from grace at the World Championships in Madrid, augurs well for our swimming future.
Goannas scored one try in each half and led 8 points to 0 at the break. They completely dominated the Rosellas, who rarely threatened their opponent's line after an initial burst. The Cessnock team has figured in grand finals now for a number of years, but have not gone on with it, losing after appearing to be a strong chance to take out another premiership. But Captain Coach Bruce Starkey seems certain to lead his Chargers into this year's grand final once more, with West now at long odds to be a threat on today's form at least. Tries for Cessnock to fullback Justin Barr and winger Paul Walker. What can you say about Western Suburbs, other than they are at their most dangerous when they're wounded, and they'll be hurt after today's whitewash.
Widden stud nestles in the lush Widden Valley west of Sandy Hollow in the Upper Hunter. It was established in 1867 by the Thompson family. Now, 7 generations later, Widden is considered by many to be one of the best studs in Australasia. Among its sires are Salieri, Masqué, Lunchtime and Bletchingley.
One of the oldest stallions standing here at Widden is Vane, not only a great racehorse in his own time, but has also sired such greats as Sidappa and Inspired.
Melbourne-based trainer Angus Armanasco believes True Version, with Star Kingdom on both sides of his bloodline, will become a valuable addition to the stable of stallions standing at Widden.
His temperament, his physique, his race performances, they were, infallible. And I think that where the little bit of speed that he didn't have as compared with a horse like Biscay, he made up in stamina because he was always doing his best work at the finish. And I am more confident of this horse making Australia's top sire than any other horse I've had.
But it's not only champion sires which make Widden studs successful. According to General Manager Gilbert Rose, it's the unique environment which helps produce champion progeny.
It's situated in a well-sheltered valley with a natural barrier around it. You're protected pretty well from the elements, the cold westerlies, the hot northwesterlies in the summertime. It does get very cold here during the nights, but the days are generally pretty pleasant, and you miss most of the wind. That, and I think history has a lot to do with it too. I mean, it started off and a lot of horses are bred here, and I think success breeds success, and so it's kept on going. And it's easy to see with the stallions we're standing now and the support of to young stallions like True Version that you would hope that the success is going to continue. I think the future looks.
In a motion passed at yesterday's budget rally meeting, the pensioners called on the government to reconsider funding cuts to all social welfare benefits. They say in particular they are the ones being made to pay for the country's overseas debts and economic problems. Although funding in the budget was renewed to the Home and Community Care Service, the association says many of its members will be hit hard with the other reductions because to them every dollar counts. The Regional Combined Pensions Association says the government has broken specific election promises in the budget, and spokesman Ted Dixon says it's the pensioners that will be the most affected.
Well, it means that those people that are living below poverty level will be forced down even further below. And to lose only $1 is a hardship to them, let alone $200 in the course of a year.
Do you think the government has broken some promises?
From review, I wouldn't excuse
at a news conference before the Liberal Party
anything in Newcastle or anywhere else
spoke on a
in terms of
variety
the
of
taking all the projects,
ranging from
seeing which ones can be deferred, which ones it's about getting rid of the amount of regulation in the entire program. The realities are that they're now committed in various ways. What they've probably got to do is to
tier of government and shouldn't be influenced by state or federal government policies. Later at the luncheon, Mr Greiner addressed the gathering on the importance of small business.
My parliamentary colleague John Jobling
and let it run its
to the
own
future
affairs.
of the area. Because unless we change the environment within which small business operates in the Hunter, we simply are going to continue to see very high levels of unemployment here as elsewhere around the state. Perhaps more so here, where the traditional industrial structure is clearly not about to remain as it was, where the large employers clearly and quite correctly are going to continue to shed labour, where you've got a situation where employment growth is not going to come either from the large traditional suppliers of jobs or from the public sector. You've therefore got only one option in terms of improved economic growth and performance in this area, and that is the small business community.
In recent years, the state's agricultural land has come under increasing pressure from competing interests. Small acre rural residential subdivision, extraction of mineral resources and even the hobby farm have threatened agricultural production by taking the prime land. With this problem in mind, the State Departments of Agriculture and Environment have drafted an environmental plan for Central Coast Plateau areas such as Summersby, Central Mangrove and Kulnura. The plan directs competing land uses away from productive farmlands to areas with lower agricultural potential. According to State Minister for Agriculture Jack Hallam, these areas have been identified as being of regional and state significance for agriculture. The plan is a step by the government to protect the citrus, poultry and market garden industries of this area.
The Department is concerned with not only protecting the existing farms in the area, but there is much land that has high agricultural potential that is not presently used. And we are wanting to retain the potential that that land has for the future, because in time the value of the land will be appreciated by the farming community and it will come into production.